Welcome to Live It Up. Today in the studio we have Valerie Kellogg, and she works at Newsday in the home department. She's a lovely person, also a mom, so we'll be visiting with her, especially about the home section. Welcome to the show.
No, thank you for having me. I'm the home editor of Newsday, and we have a print section that appears on Fridays. It's called LA Home, and we also have a blog called Real LI, which actually won Best Blog from the National Association of Real Estate Editors this year, which was a big honor for us. And I do a weekly segment on News 12 called LA Home. We go on live and we talk about celebrity real estate, multi-million-dollar real estate, all the beautiful luxury homes we have on the island.
So it's a multiple platform approach.
It really is, and it's a lot like the way Newsday operates. 6 out of 10 Long Island adults read Newsday, the print version.
Okay.
But we also have 700,000 registered users to Newsday.com, and then we also have content on mobile devices and tablets. And so the home section, the home beat that I cover is kind of a microcosm of that. You can really get whatever news you want in any format you want, wherever you go.
It's nice. It's like Newsday goes with you.
Yes, and it's
Right.
very exciting. It's very fun to be able to plan all of those different platforms.
Well, I think it's very important for the print publication to make that move, you know, to be so hip, to be so digital, to really provide the audience what it is that they're looking for.
Yeah.
So now I know that you feature a lot of homes. In fact, you helped me when I was selling my house back in the day, but you work with celebrities. Tell us about those homes that you feature.
Well, we've got some really interesting properties on the market on Long Island right now. Richard Gere, for instance, has a big spread in North Haven that actually has a pond with a place, I think it's a tea house in the middle of the pond, and that's on the market for, I have to look at my notes, $47.5 million, and it had been on the market for $65 million. So even celebrities have to do price cuts in this market. And another big deal that's going on right now is Billy Joel.
Okay.
He's finally in contract to sell his Sagaponic house. This was the house that he bought from Roy Scheider way back when as a gift for his then wife, Katie Lee. He's in contract. That house is listed now for $19.95 million. It's down from $23.5, and we'll see how much it actually sells for. And there have been some other celebrities. Anderson Cooper has 2 homes on the market in Quiog. We also have Luann de Lesseps in Bridgehampton, you know, from Real Housewives of New York City.
Yes.
And who else
Those
do we
are some
have?
big names
Oh,
you got
very big names.
rolling.
Pat LaFontaine has a house in Lloyd Harbor. He's the Hockey Hall of Famer, the big legend. He's got a house on the market. And Sean Hannity, who's a neighbor from Fox, he's got his place on the market.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So now when a celebrity is selling their property and they choose to work with Newsday, do you know, dress it up a little bit differently? Like, how does that work for you
Well,
guys?
I think there's a tremendous appetite for celebrity real estate. You look at some of the reality TV shows on Bravo, you know, $1 Million Listing LA, $1 Million Listing New York. People, I'm going to use this word carefully. It's a little bit like house porn.
Okay.
People like to see how people are living on the other side of the fence. And so we scour listings, and we scour recently sold, you know, transferred properties and look for names. And we also have lots of sources.
Right.
So there's real reporting. I mean, Billy Joel doesn't hand us his real estate pack and say, hey, feature my home in Newsday. But we, you know.
We're smiling at the front door and he's like looking at this.
Right. Right. So, and there have been some other great homes. Long Island is just an amazing place, from east to west, west to east, north to south. We have the North Shore with the Gold Coast properties. We have the Hamptons. And there are beautiful homes all across Long Island. We get some very interesting listings that come our way.
Yes. Features, right, inside of a house. Like
recently, in Oyster Bay Cove, we had a home that had both a professional slot car track in the basement.
Really?
Yes, as well as a rock climbing wall in the living room. I'd never seen that before.
In the living room especially.
I know.
I've had people put pool tables in their living rooms. When you go in, like that's their family room.
Right.
But yeah, rock climbing wall, okay, kind of unique.
Very, very different, yeah. We also had another place in Oyster Bay Cove where way back when, I think it was in the 1920s, the owner of the home purchased a schoolhouse in Woodbury where Walt Whitman once taught, and he collected Walt Whitman memorabilia at that time. He bought it for $60. He transferred it to the estate. So now that he's obviously not alive anymore, but that home with the schoolhouse is now on the market, and the owners have done great things there, like have Dead Poets Society dinners and salsa lessons.
So they've been creative with living in a creative space
and kept a lot of the original, actually most of the original details, and also restored it a bit. There was a place in Woodbury that was a tennis house that The Duke and Duchess of Windsor used to play there. Jackson 5 came and played there, according to the owners. And it's a real throwback from the early part of the century. Very unusual. We've had houses with water towers, with clock towers. We've had a place with a recording studio, professional recording studio.
I was just going to say, it's funny because Elvis Presley comes to mind.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, and they would always talk about the decor in his home was different things. Like there's jungle room, and there's this room, and that room, and this room. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
You probably see it all.
There was one house in the Hamptons that we featured, I believe it was last year, where it had a synagogue in the home.
Wow.
It was pretty amazing.
So a place of worship right there.
Exactly.
They didn't have to leave home for anything,
exactly.
basically.
They could bring the community in. So.
A lot of fun.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Is that what you like about your job the most? Is that every day it's different for you?
Well, I think in general I went into this business because of that. I love the uncertainty, but I also love to be able to follow stories as well and kind of see them through. And I love architecture. My father actually was a master craftsman of dollhouses, museum quality dollhouses. He had a business here that my mother has now carried on, and she actually sort of learned how to build these houses. So we were always about the home in my house, and so this is kind of an extension of what I grew up to appreciate.
That's so funny because I know exactly where their store was because I walked by it, and now I'm visualizing it, and I always would go in and look at those houses.
Yeah.
Do you still have yours from when you were a little girl?
That's a funny, I never really wanted a dollhouse, and my father was going to make a replica of the wedding chapel that I got married in Las Vegas with an Elvis impersonator, and he died before he got to finish it.
I'm so sorry.
But there are houses that I do want to keep and pass on.
That are treasured memories of things that he built.
Yeah.
How fantastic. Well, it's funny that I brought up Elvis. I didn't even know that you had an Elvis impersonator at your wedding.
Right.
And we were also going to talk about Explore Long Island and the parenting section, because you also help with that as well there.
Yeah. We have a great story today that you can read forever online about Pickleball, which is this new craze that's coming over Long Island, taking over Long Island. It's sort of a racket sport. No pickles involved.
That's what I was going to say. It's like a tennis racket and a pickle? No. I'm not sure.
No. We have a great story coming up about corn mazes and, I didn't realize that you could have different kinds of corn mazes. I just went out took my son to a corn maze over the weekend, and they have ones where they'll come out and scare you, and other ones where they're a little hokey, the Robin Hood theme. And we have a terrific food section. We just had a great package, which again you can see on exploreli.com, which is part of Newsday.com, all about kosher and kosher style restaurants on the island. It's a very definitive guide. And we have a story coming out this week about how to cook with waffle irons. And we're not talking waffles, we're talking dumplings, we're talking chicken nuggets. Yes. And I've been practicing it at home.
Have you really?
Yes.
You went out and got a waffle iron?
I did.
As you're writing about it, you're learning?
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like that type of
research.
Actually,
our food writers wrote about it expertly, but I just came home to practice to see how it really works.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like dumplings, and who thought a waffle iron? That's a great idea. It cooks on both sides at the same time.
It does, and then you get that stamp on it.
Right.
A little crunch,
Well, it all sounds fascinating and fun, and thank you for joining us. You are a very vibrant and entertaining guest. And,
thank you.
I learned a lot, and I'm a big Newsday fan, but thank you for giving us the perspective from being on the inside of it.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Stay tuned for more on Live It Up. We have been visiting with Valerie Kellogg. Stay tuned.